Welcome, dear listener, to another episode of Exploring Political Thought. Ladies and gentlemen, let us delve into the intricacies of Plato's profound theory of justice, with a specific focus on the intriguing aspects of the community of wives and property in his vision of the ideal state. Plato's exploration of justice extended far beyond legal frameworks. It encompassed the very essence of societal structures, family dynamics, and individual development. Today, we embark on a journey through Plato's radical ideas, examining the merits and criticisms surrounding his vision of justice as reflected in the community of wives and property. Plato envisioned education as a means to nurture and develop the human soul, laying the foundation for an enlightened society. In tandem with this, the community of wives and property aimed to eliminate hindrances to individual growth. The overarching goal was to create a meritocratic society where individuals performed tasks aligned with their inherent nature, free from the influence of nepotism, accident, family ties, or wealth. To achieve this meritocracy, Plato deemed it necessary to abolish private family and property for the guardian class. He argued that such private arrangements led to corruption, favoritism, and factionalism among rulers, diverting them from the pursuit of the common good. By stripping the guardians of private possessions, Plato sought to create a select group of rulers who would govern for the benefit of the disenfranchised masses. The communal living envisioned for the guardian class resembled that of soldiers in a barrack, with shared resources and no possession of gold or silver. Plato, inspired by the Greek tradition that friends have all things in common, aimed to foster unity and a sense of collective responsibility. This emphasis on commonality extended beyond property to include living arrangements and subsistence. In Plato's magnum opus, The Republic, he dedicated considerable attention to the community of wives, driven by his concern over negative emotions like hatred, selfishness, avarice, and envy propagated within the family structure. Plato sought to eradicate the exclusivity and secondary position of women within families, advocating for their reform as legislators and rulers. Two central ideas emerged from Plato's community of wives: the reformation of conventional marriage and the emancipation of women. Plato rejected permanent monogamous marriages, viewing them as sources of women's subordination, subjugation, and seclusion. While acknowledging the necessity of marriage for the reproduction and continuation of the human race, he proposed temporary sexual unions solely for procreation. This allowed women to be relieved of traditional child-rearing responsibilities, emphasizing the greater good of the community. To ensure the best and fittest human stock, Plato proposed strict regulation of sexual intercourse, to be decided by the philosopher-ruler. The secrecy surrounding these decisions aimed to prevent discontent among the guardians. Plato envisioned a system of festivals where brides and bridegrooms would be brought together, leaving the number of marriages to the ruler's discretion and, ingeniously, possibly determined through drawing lots. The ideal age for marriage, according to Plato, was between 25 and 55 for men and 20 and 40 for women. He prohibited relationships between close family members and encouraged temporary unions, not with the intent of promoting promiscuity but to secure the community's greatest good. Abortion was recommended for illegitimate children, further underlining the state's control over reproduction. Children born under Plato's system would be taken care of by state-maintained nurseries, with well-trained nurses. The deliberate obscurity of parentage aimed to foster respect between generations. Officers, regardless of gender, would oversee the upbringing of children, separating the better guardians from the inferior ones, ensuring the latter's discreet disposition. Plato's meritocratic society downplayed the importance of birth, challenging the notion that skills and talents were hereditary. Through mock marriages, rigged lotteries, and eugenics, individual aptitudes would be sifted and classified, upholding high standards of excellence. However, critics found Plato's proposals insensitive, particularly regarding the disposal of invalids and the abolition of medicines to prevent the prolongation of extreme and chronic invalids' lives. Notably absent from Plato's discourse was the institution of slavery, which he considered unimportant. This stance, however, raised eyebrows among later thinkers, as slavery was a pervasive and essential component of Athenian/Greek economies. As we critically evaluate Plato's theory of justice through the community of wives and property, some commend his visionary challenge to conventional societal norms, while others condemn the excessive regimentation and loss of individuality in his proposals. The critiques, led by Aristotle, argue for the importance of familial bonds and private property in fostering happiness and state welfare. Plato, ever aware of the consequences of economic factors on politics, emphasized the need for a temperate attitude towards property. Excessive wealth or poverty, he argued, would lead to political instability and social upheaval. Inequalities, according to Plato, were a significant cause of strife in Greek cities. In Plato's ideal state, the third social class was allowed private families and property, albeit under the strict control of the guardians. Both the guardians and artisans were subordinated to a moral ideal focused on the state's welfare. While guardians led strict lives focused on ruling and governance, artisans enjoyed emotional ties and possessions, illustrating Plato's attempt at balancing rewards and denials in society. The characteristics of Plato's ideal state included class distinctions, communism, civility, control, contentment, and consensus. Plato's communism, though ascetic in nature, is often seen as a precursor to modern-day socialism, symbolizing different types of economic management and envisioning a society free of exploitation and oppression, grounded in social justice, equity, freedom, and democracy. In conclusion, Plato's theory of justice, as manifested in the community of wives and property, sparks both admiration and critique. It challenges traditional notions of family, property, and individual autonomy, paving the way for later debates on governance, societal structures, and the delicate balance between the collective good and individual freedoms. As we navigate through the intricacies of Plato's vision, let us contemplate the enduring relevance of his ideas and their impact on our understanding of justice in the ever-evolving tapestry of human societies.